Over the last 2 to 3 days, the National Assembly members of our nation conversed in an extensive debate pertaining to the 2020 Constitution Promulgation Bill. Compared to that of the nation's 1997 Constitution, this draft constitution was clearly a sharp departure from it. The bill was, however, defeated early Tuesday evening after only 31 MPs out of the required 42 voted in favor of it. The remaining 23 voted against it. We're now going out to the public to find out the Gambians' general reaction on the entire ordeal.
Of the proceedings of the assembly and some of the comments, basic comments of some of the MPs. Of course, you can clearly see partisan politics playing. But my problem is, I think Gambia should actually graduate from petty partisan politics when it comes to national issues. Because I want to believe that this constitution actually, it's a national issue. First place, it is the same parliament that approved the CRC Act. It is the same parliament that said, oh, you know what, we all agree that we need a new facelift. We need a new beginning. So coming back, just because there's an issue between the UDP and the president's camp, for me, I think it is so petty for National Assembly members to think that way, because they are the representative of the people, not the parties. Even though they come through the parties, but they should definitely look at the interests of the people at this critical time. You know, I know we will never have a perfect constitution where everything is okay for everybody. There will be some clauses that will not be favorable for a particular camp also. But even if you look at it generally, for me, I think the draft constitution is actually so progressive, and then they should not play partisan politics. Instead, it should be the Gambia.
I would have appreciated that the 1997 constitution to be amended and the bad laws in that constitution would have been removed to save the financial aspect of it. But since that was not done and the draft went ahead, so when it comes to the House, if I were in the shoes of the parliamentarian, I was just going to vote it, and then later probably we can summon meetings or sittings and make some adjustment, improve on the bad ones, instead of rejecting the entire constitution. Partisan politics and self-interest was manifested right at the beginning. That was since at the beginning of Adama Barrow's regime, there was, of course, partisan politics. And that was why when members like the member for Serekunda, Halifa Sallah, suggested the amendment of the 1917 Constitution instead of going in for a new one, I mean, because of partisan, that idea was kicked out. So again, we've realized from the voting process that, of course, there was partisan politics. But probably Adama Barrow would want to serve more than 2 times, and knowing fully that if this constitution comes into effect, then definitely that will hinder him that objective. Obviously, those that are in support of his political agenda definitely voted no to the draft constitution. And therefore, my perspective is there was interest, personal interest, and partisan politics, of course.
Simple question.
Yeah, definitely I will vote yes. Yeah, because why? Because this constitution is here to make sure that to safeguard the Gambia citizens. Because if you look at it, it's try and separate most of the organs of the government, the judiciary, you have the executive and the legislature. And it gives the legislature the powers to do their work effectively and efficiently. Because if you look at it, what is in the constitution, for example, the president can nominate ministers, but it is the legislatures who have the mandate now to see whether they are qualified to hold those portfolios or not. Definitely, it is credible.
I would have voted yes. Yeah, looking at the amount of money that has been invested for the draft constitution is too huge. $116 million is quite a huge amount of money. And the second thing is, hence it is the National Assembly that established the CRC Act. Why would they have voted no? You know, if that would have been the case, in the first instance, they wouldn't even have agreed to establish the CRC Act. And then, looking at the time frame also, the amount of resources, the time wasted, as well as the anticipation of the masses to the Constitution. And the other thing is, when you look at the 1997 Constitution, it's full of so many things that are erroneous, that do not suit us as a democratic state. Those things, those bad laws definitely need to be removed. But the reality is, Gambian politicians, I think they are not supposed to be trusted anymore. That is the hard fact about me. Yeah, and when you look at this from the beginning, since the campaign was going on in the year 2016 to date, when you analyze the whole system, there has not been any progress in anywhere, to be quite candid. There are reforms, but reforms still going on, no progress. That's not an absolutely, is it? And then they said the president made a promise to the citizens that he would establish a new constitution, which has come and has now turned to be zero. That promise is now null and void. We should no longer listen to him. That is the hard fact.
To be a National Assembly member, I will vote yes for this constitution, because this constitution, it gives more power to citizens, and then above all, it's we the citizens together we put our thoughts and our aspirations and give it to CRC, and they compile it together and present it to the National Assembly. So to me, the National Assembly should give us the chance, the citizens, for us to decide on our own, and let them not kill the bill or bury it at once. Above all, this constitution, it has so many important clauses. It's better we amend few and then that suits us than to reject everything totally. And then one of the most important part of it that impressed me more is about 10% for the youth. So that 10% really impressed me about. I have seen that now the Constitution has provided us a space, a right that we can, anybody in office or in authority must give to the youth. So our representation, as time goes on, will increase the percentage or the number.
Yes, I think it's a transition period for the Gambia. We are moving from a dictatorship to a democratic state. So all those draconian laws, we have to do away with them. We cannot allow ourselves to be ruled by those kind of laws in our country. I think there is a need for us to transform our everything from economic to our judiciary to our democratic system, governance, and all sort of things that